Hello my dear students, welcome back to our War on the Sea Let's Play series as the US Naval Forces, joining straight after our previous episode where we did manage to sink a Mogami heavy cruiser, which is something we have not done yet at all in this series, and rather surprised that we actually haven't had any real surface engagements ever since really, I think the third episode it was, the Brown Alerts one, where a Tonne Task Force caught us by surprise, very much off guard at Guadalcanal after we just landed some troops there, I believe, or at least the invasion process, which has been a hell of a long time, hasn't it? We've not had any chance to properly have a decisive surface engagement since that date, and that is rather sad, to be honest. I really do want to have something like that, but of course we do need to be careful with that, because the last time we tried we did lose the Brooklyn and nearly New Orleans to the Nagasau, and it could have gone a lot worse. Got out of there just in time, if you ask me, but all it comes down to, of course, is some good preparation and some softening up before they get to us. And of course some good scouting, and that is something we're definitely focusing on in the coming days. A lot of scouting, because as a couple episodes ago would have shown, we do have a Congo task force somewhere about with either a Nishin or a Chitose escort carrier, which is rather a problem because we did lose sight of it after our extensive scouting in the previous episode. So that is something we really need to keep an eye out for, and that's what we're going to be doing today, I think, as well as trying to get try and re-establish exactly what's going on with the Nagato task force, which we hit previously as well. So enough babbling on, let's go straight to the strategic map and have a look at a plan of action, shall we? Alrighty then, so we do of course have our air groups out looking for where that Congo might be. We did of course see a scout plane coming from the northerly direction here, which is why we've redirected our planes in that particular area, and of course up to the northwest here, trying to chase down that Nagato to make sure it has properly retreated. But if we can't see it in this area by now, where we do have radar coverage, it is very likely it has of course gone back to Rabaul to repair, which is rather unfortunate, because that means it will come out at a later date at full strength once again. Rather horrible, so we couldn't sink it. Having a bit of a brain fart there, but it's just how this game goes sometimes. Either can't employ the tools that you have properly, which is quite often the case, or just don't have the tools available. But not a problem there. We do of course have the Colorado coming up with the two destroyers here. That means we will likely be splitting off this task force again in half. Likely an American heavy, and then I think we'll get the Mauritius and the Australia in a separate task force as well, than Atlanta perhaps. We'll see what happens there. Once again, I'm going to double check what's happening in the dockyard. We do have one more day until we get the New Orleans and the Northampton, and we will be repurchasing those once we get reimbursed with that again, so that we do have more heavy cruisers out for protection and offence as we want, which is brilliant stuff. That would give us a very nice surface power in the theatre here. And we are thinking, actually, we will of course get the Bogue back in 3 days, but if we can get up to 30 command points, I might get a second Bogue out, so that we do have 3 aircraft carriers in the area, and that will provide a hell of a lot of scouting and some very nice air presence there for us. The Bogue's more for the combat air patrol of and scouting power of the Wildcats, and the Wasp for striking power. I think we will change that too. Going to double check exactly what we have. We do only have 4 Avengers available, but we do have quite a lot of Dauntlesses left, 25 in total out of 30. So we're certainly not going to send the Wasp back anytime soon. We do still have quite a lot of Wildcats out and about. So we'll have a look at that as that comes, see what happens with our next strikes with our Dauntlesses. This over here is the Cimarron and the C3. Can't currently pick up anything of too much worth because you don't have any fuel or engineering really worth carrying with this task force. So we are going to wait to get resupplied until that is back in use there. This group is coming back with a lot of fuel and engineering and a few supplies and troops. just to get Guadalcanal up once again. Once that ticks over, how much do we have here? The fuel is 140 on Cimarron, lots of troops on the Macaulay there, some engineering. So that's not going to be enough by itself to bring the level up to 4 on the airfield there, but that's not a problem. That will just be a case of sending that backwards and forwards over the course of the next few weeks. But not a problem there. We do sight some submarines about. We do need to be careful of those, but we're not going to be able to strike them just yet, I think. Although having said that, I might launch some air cobras. I'm not going to launch with any bombs. I'm just going to hope we get into strafe at least this submarine here, because it does mean it is threatening this unprotected group of supply ships here, which are going to pick up some supplies and troops from Santa Isabel and bring them over to Guadalcanal. I think we'll see what happens from there. So let's get going and see what happens. Alrighty, so we have managed to come into contact with that submarine to the north of us with our air cobras. We do have some wildcats in the area as well, but they are quite a distance away from it. I think by the time they get over to the submarine, it will have submerged. In fact, it's not looking like it's trying to submerge just yet. We have told all of the air cobras to go in and try and get it. I think I'm going to try and tell them to reduce their speed, actually, or at least a few of them, just to get a few more shots off onto that submarine before it does go down below the surface depth. Just a few of them there. We'll see how this goes. It does look like it's trying to go down now, actually. So any shots on there would be ideal. Not taking bombs because they don't always hit, of course. And there we go. Doing these strafing runs here will absolutely do the job if we do get some decent hits in. Get some nice explosions, very nice explosions on there. That should be all of its compartments very heavily damaged there. And it does, of course, go down onto the surface depth before our extra groups can come in there. Maybe we should have kept them at full speed and perhaps they would have gone in. Yeah, we're not going to, of course, we're not going to penetrate the water line with our machine guns there, our main caliber armament. We are on heavy damage and moderate flooding. We will stay in the area. We'll circle around with something and compress some time. So otherwise, I'm sure that will survive because, you know, why wouldn't it? We lost our tambour to one bomb, which damaged us a couple compartments. But after taking many explosions, why would one of the AI submarines sink there? It's just that would be too fair, wouldn't it? So I'll get back to you on the strategic map, and I'll tell you what happens after that. And rather unluckily there, we did not manage to sink that submarine, unfortunately. We have lost sight of it. I did try and go back to the strategic map, or the tactical map rather, once it came up back to here and try and re-establish contact, but there's no such sign of it, unfortunately. Perhaps we need to wait for it to come back later on. We will be extra vigilant with these supply ships here. It's quite possible they might get hit. But after the submarine itself got hit, there's no particular guarantee that it will go straight for any other ships. Perhaps it will go and repair itself. You never know. AI does seem to like to retreat once it's been hit, which is rather nice. It's something we can have a look at in the coming days. This Kingfisher not doing anything, even though it's on a course to move. Rather interesting there. And I'm going to set, I have not told our Wildcats to be on a patrol path, so I'm actually going to set that up now so they automatically return and go back to their flights once they have refueled. So I'll be back with you in just a second and we'll see how that goes. Alright, so we have launched some lightnings off of, I believe, Port Moresby, and that is because we have sighted another submarine right off of the port there. So we have launched them with some sat bombs, even though I said I didn't really like bombs earlier. These are carrying a heavier payload. We should be okay with them like that. I am going to approach from two different angles there, like that, and we're going to go as a low altitude bomb, and I think this lot are going to go for a line ahead like that. This lot can go for a broadside strike there. Just make sure they are certainly both targeted. Lovely stuff. Let's see if it is trying to submerge. Doesn't appear so just yet, but I am going to tell the lightnings to attack straight away just to make sure they do get in for sure. Can't quite see it from here. That is lovely. How's it looking? Is it submerging? Not just yet, not just yet. Are these lightnings on a decent line? Not necessarily, but they're so close this I don't think it matters too much. We don't have any ships here just yet, so nothing is an immediate threat. Just be nice to get rid of this if possible. So we are dropping with the first lot. And there's one bomb. And this isn't on a good line at all. Look at that, completely missed there. I really should have microed that a little better. How does that translate? Critical damage though with that one bomb. So we are going to turn around, try and stay in contact and wait for the message that it has succumbed to any flooding and fires. So let's do that and see how that goes. And there we go. Did not take any time at all. So we shall be back on the map now to have a look at how our scouts are going. I am going to use the rest of the fuel from these lightnings just to do a very quick scout in this area here, and that would be just nice. We have launched some lightnings with bombs to do a small patrol like this, and some bow fighters just to keep this area, just to keep some sights out over here as well, because we do like to find some oilers and such, random patrols in that area as well. So let's see exactly how this goes. We do have some fighters out over here, quite likely looking for the Kingfisher. That suggests that there might be something out in this direction. I am going to very quickly launch off, I think, just a few Kingfishers like that, and they can go on a patrol path, I think, to make sure they are constantly scouting out there. I'm going to get one actually just to go more southerly to get some sort of line over there. I'm going to launch just one more for some scouting along this sort of path here, and that can just go in a straight line like that. So let's see what we pick up. Quite likely have to skip past something with these fighters over here. It does make me wonder where they're coming from actually. Encounter with the lightnings over here. We have come into contact with some sort of oiler. So let's see what we have. There it is. Yeah, it's just I forget exactly what that's called. Kamogawa Maru, perhaps. I can't remember. I believe that's the main size. The main type, actually. Not a problem. Going to go in once again for a low altitude bomb. Lovely stuff. That's what we like to see. So we're going to tell them to come in just like that. And again, with these lightnings overhead, like that. And they can go for a low altitude once again. And make sure we are targeting it. Sorry, thank you very much. Goes straight over. Might actually raise that altitude just a tad. Like that. And these lightnings I've completely forgotten about, so you're going to tell them to attack from here. Lovely stuff. Come on guys, you got this. It's not firing it just yet. I don't believe this has any AA mounts. It doesn't appear to be the case. We can't see any modelled in there. It's certainly not firing. We should be absolutely okay. So if we miss with these bombs, we can of course... what the hell is that lead? You can of course come in for a lovely little strafe if it doesn't go down to these, but it really should do. Going to just give us a little bit more lead here with these lightnings. Try and come from the bow position there, and I think that should be just fine. So we're going to tell them to attack just now, and we're not going to bother with line ahead. Don't need to worry with such a troublous target. Should not cause us any worries here at all. And we're going to hit with a couple of these lightnings, I believe, and then it should easily go down. Look at that, such a good sight there, and that is brilliant. Ah, stem to stern, straight down, lovely stuff. I'm going to keep these lightnings out once again, just to make sure we get some sight on this area here, so we can get the drum perhaps to change its course there. So we're going to start playing once again, and it does make me wonder where these are going. Really does. Actually, what I'm going to do then, if that's the case, is get some lightnings out. I think just a group of 4 for the minute, with some... they don't need to travel too far. Exactly what is the distance there? 700. I'm going to launch them with rockets just to get some more distance out of them. I'm going to see if they come anywhere in this particular area here. What do we have in terms of fuel? I think that would do. We can get them out on a patrol path for now. And we're going to launch a second group, but in 0.2 hours. So we'll try that in a second. They do seem to be converging on one place. I don't know if they're going for the New Hebrides or going to land somewhere, but the New Hebrides is now able to launch once again. It's going to launch 8 now with some HVARs, because I do think we're going to get intercepted here as we go in for this. I'm just going to do a lovely little patrol like that. We'll see how that goes, I think. So just waiting. Going to be a tad slow. Not a problem. What does the Kingfisher come into contact with? We can also that. That's not a problem there. It will go down, but it's okay. It was launched from Santa Isabel. Not a problem there. Can't fight that. So I'll get back to you once we come into contact with anything else. If there's any interesting developments. I get the feeling these might actually avoid these planes for some reason, but we'll see what happens there. Otherwise, I'll see you in a second. Aha! Alrighty then. So, despite scouting, this has just come into our radar range. This carrier group, apparently. So we are going to redirect our Tambor straight over there and see what we can do about that. We are, of course, going to launch some Wildcats over there once we have enough. Actually, we should certainly have enough. We've got some on the Guadalcanal airfield here. So that is lovely stuff. Where is our Wasp? Is just here. So what I want to do is try and scout this out, of course, first. Going to launch some Wildcats straight over there for air cover. And we are going to launch, I think after that, we're going to try and launch some Mitchells. Just going to double check how long we have. Actually, we should be right to drop off of here. So we're going to go for 2 bombs like that. I do like the option of having 2 bombs there, just increases our chance of hitting. And we're going to, while we're here, manage our cargo with this group and load up as much as we can and bring them over to Guadalcanal. These are not needed anymore on Santa Isabel, which is brilliant stuff. So I'll get you back once we get over here. I might launch, what do we have over here? We did lose the Kingfisher, or one of them over here. I think once we get closer with the Wildcats and the Mitchells, I'm going to launch some float planes from Santa Isabel just to have a look at this carrier as well. Perhaps we can drop something or drop bombs onto something else. So we'll do that and I'll get back to you in a second. Alrighty then, so we have come into contact with that carrier group. Shall we see exactly what we have? So we have a Mogami already firing at our planes. Lovely stuff. What is this? A Fuso. Oh, I've been wondering where the hell that went to. And this is the carrier, I believe a Nishin. Let's double check exactly what that will be carrying then. Let's go to CVL. And it might actually be... No, it says a Nishin. Lovely stuff. Only one in the class. Lovely stuff. There are... Yeah, this is the Chitos that we got previously, and that'll be Chiyoda around as well. So that'll be carrying predominantly scout planes, and it's not a problem at all. So if we do see fighters in the area now, there should be roofs. Certainly not too much of a problem for our Wildcats. I've got the Mariners in with some, I believe, 1.6 thousand pound AP bombs. Same loadout as the Mitchells. So we are going to identify exactly what the targets are here. Where are we? So we're going to go for the Nishin here. And we're going to see what happens with the Fuso as well. So let's go to Battleship. Is this one? The Fuso, lovely stuff. So what we're going to do is try and hit them first with the Mitchells, I think, and then see what happens with that group. And we're going to go over and hit secondly with our Mariners. Lovely stuff like that. So where are we with this group? That's this group here, the single group there, and we're going to tell them all to line up properly like that, and hopefully they will actually come in properly this time. I do need to redirect them just a tad like that. I'm going to tell them to increase their speed once we get over like that. That is just a tad in the wrong direction there, but it's not a problem. We increase their speed while they come in, get our Mariners to come out of their AA fire. We're going to actually get them to come in from the flank there. Going to get their radars on just to help them out a tad. And going to get them all over there like that. They are going to increase their speed as well because their maximum speed, of course, is not too high. And the Wildcats are going to follow both groups. One group going to come over here. One group going to follow the Mitchells like that. And another, I think, is going to stay somewhat within AA range to try and distract the enemy like that. So I will come back in just a second when we are in range with the Mitchells, I think, unless we do get intercepted by some scouts or roofs. Okay, so we are now in range with our Mitchells. I have made sure we are targeting the Mission. That is certainly the priority target here. Do not want any sort of aircraft rather coming off of that. And our Mariners are just about in position to come up from the flank there. So let's see how this drop goes. I'm very, very hopeful. After our previous disasters there, we have lost a Mitchell, but it did drop. Losing another one, the camera just being horrible there. Oh, that was brilliant. I will happily take that. 3 bombs. What is the report on there? Heavy and heavy. Interesting there. Very interesting indeed. I'm actually going to double check what the armour is like on there. Losing a lot of Mitchells on the retreat there. It's getting rather annoying. And the thing over here is not being very helpful either. Lovely stuff. Nope, that's not working. Great. Alright. Does this one work? Yes, it does. Let's go to all. Nope, okay, can't move it. Fair enough. Let's leave that alone then. We're going to tell our Mariners to come in. I was going to check the armour of the Nishan there to see if we could perhaps get that down with a strafing run. I'm sure it's rather low. Maybe we can try and hit something else with the Mariners here. Perhaps a Mogami. This is over here. That would be lovely if we could hit that. I doubt we'll be able to sink the Fuso with our Mariners. So let's get them into position anyway. They are going to go on a line ahead like that. So we do have all of them pretty much in one group there. That's lovely stuff. Someone to come in like this, I think. This lot. I think actually this lot will try and just make sure the Nishan goes down actually like that. We're not going to tell them to line ahead or anything too fancy because I just want them to get in right now. The Wildcats not particularly needed at the moment. In fact, they could. There's quite a lot of other ships here, to be honest. It's tempting to try and strafe down one of the cargo ships here, but I don't think it's fully worth it at the moment, which is a shame. Going to try and target the Mogami just here, like that. And that should be okay. Is that? Oh, it is a Mariner that we've lost. Come on, guys. Nearly in range. I would love it if they could travel a little bit faster there. No such luck, unfortunately. They're just very heavy planes. Not got the engine power for that. But we're so close to dropping range. Come on, guys. Come on. Not taking a hit just yet. No lucky flak, please. And come on. I was worried that they weren't told to attack them, but we're just fine. We're going to carry on overhead now. What is that? New contact aircraft. Oh, that is just a Jake. That's absolutely fine. Let's make sure we get into a decent position with these Mariners, actually. Yeah, I think we're doing just fine there. How are the bombs going to hit here before we decide to hit the Mogami? And okay, we did get another direct bomb. Let's see how that's affected. Critical damage. I think that'll be just fine. Going to make sure these Wildcats are, yeah, they're coming in to get the Jake, not a problem. We are going to lose more Mariners as they retreat there, though. So we're going to tell this group, oh, nearly told them to drop their bombs too early then. That would have been a shame. We are going to tell this group to go in for the Mogami then, and I think that would be just nice. I'm going to just reduce or increase the time compression there and tell them to turn around a little bit better. And there we go. We've got to tell them to attack from this angle now. And that should be okay there, actually. It's looking very nice indeed. How's it looking on the map? Yeah, we should be okay. As long as the Mogami doesn't turn too hard there, I think we'll be okay on that. Oh, what the hell happened there? They dropped far too early. What the hell? That is ridiculous. What the hell happened there? We're going to tell these Wildcats actually to group up, and they are actually going to attack the Nishan just to make sure it goes down, I think. Give it some lovely little love taps. It is burning rather heavily. I'll just take another report. So it's critical and heavy, but I want to absolutely make sure this goes down. I don't mind losing a few wildcats, because right at the moment I think it'll be just fine. Let's tell them to go in. Just like that. It's coming away from the main group, but we will still have quite a lot of AA to contend with there. Shouldn't be too much of a problem though. Are they trying to come down to the right altitude? They are indeed. Lovely stuff. Lost a lot of other planes though, pretty much all of the float planes, and a couple Mitchells, which is rather a shame. Do always lose our float planes in these attacks, but I'm willing to live with that, to be honest. They've shown how useful they've been. I've no idea why they dropped far too early on that Mogami. But not a bother. We can come back for it later with some dive bombers, perhaps. I'm just going to make sure we get a couple more explosions on this ignition. I'm pretty sure the armour on that is rather slim. So we're going to, of course, tell them to come straight out of their full speed. And that should be just fine there. We've made sure the fires are kept going. And I think we'll come around maybe for one more strafe, but we'll see what happens. And there we go, we did actually manage to sink the Nishin, which is brilliant stuff. The next targets will of course be the Fuso and I believe the, I think we go for the cargo ships because they are rather close to Guadalcanal, even though we do have ships there to intercept them. Having said that then, actually out loud, I believe the Fuso and the cruisers are the better idea. We can go in to intercept the cargo ships or force them to retreat if we do get rid of those. And of course they are more limited in number than the cargo ships, which are of course, I believe, infinite in capacity. We did lose a hell of a lot of planes there though. Luckily they are airfield based, but because we destroyed the Nishin, that means there shouldn't be any interfering roofs in the coming attacks. So, I think we're going to go full-on Dauntless mode. We're going to go with armor-piercing bombs. Just going to double-check the distance there. Yeah, we're definitely going to be able to make that. That's not a problem. So, we're going to go for the 9 from the Guadalcanal airfield there. And we're going to launch all possible Dauntlesses from the Wasp as well. And that would be just bloody brilliant if we can sink perhaps a Mogami or the foot attacker, which was there as well. Not hoping to sink the Fuso with just dive bombers, I think. Although, having said that, probably the better choice, really. What we could do is launch some Catalinas and try and torpedo it while the Dauntlesses are taking the air fire. But again, they are rather large and lumbering, so it's not the most guaranteed and safest plan there. But we do have the Colorado coming in as well. That'd be rather interesting. It is only the Fuso and a couple heavy cruisers there. They're not the biggest threat, actually. Fuso being the largest there. But we'll see what happens. Let's go into the future and try and hit this once again. Alrighty then, so we have come back into contact with this group at night time, so we should really be forced to have gone back to refuel, but luckily we haven't. Because it is so dark, the visibility is only 43%, which means hopefully that their AA will fire at the worst of times, and very luckily they've changed their formation so that the Fuso is a tad more isolated at the rear of their formation there, so we are going to try and torpedo it with our Catalinas there. They're going to go full speed. Don't need to bother too much about changing that later on because they are at a very nice attack speed there. Of course, going straight down to an attacking altitude there. That is going to be brilliant stuff if we can hit that. If we can hit it, that is of course the problem there. The biggest problem there with Catalinas, because of their size, of course. And I'm just going to make sure I did not tell them to decrease their altitude there or increase their speed. So that was lucky we remembered that. Dauntlesses, what are they going to go for? What are they going to go for? I think they're going to go for the Mogami. Foot attacker, not so much of a threat. That's certainly not a foot attacker. I've forgotten which one I clicked. Not a problem. So the Mogami over here, the number 4. Gonna get, I think, how many groups do we have? We do have quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 groups of Dauntlesses. I think we're going to hit the Mogami with 4 groups to start with, and that'll be these 4 over here. So from that, that is good to know. Lovely stuff. So they're going to go line ahead, and they're just going to make sure we come to a decent line over here. Don't need to target too precisely with dive bombers, because they do, of course, get rather close themselves. It's literally the point of them. Lovely stuff there. And do that. Just do that a few times, and we'll be okay there. So what we're going to do with the other 3 is keep them in reserve and see how these 4 hit the Mogami. If it is not ideal, then we'll try and hit the Mogami again. If it is ideal, we'll go for the foot attacker, I think. So that is that. Having said that then, going to make sure these do stay in reserve and pull them back a little bit like that. Here we go. Let's make sure they're all coming around like that, and I'll get back to you when we are in range, I think. And that does appear to be the case now. We're just going to tell all of our Catalinas to try and attack from this angle, and right now, before they all get shot down, I think that'd be just fine there. Going to keep an eye on the Dauntlesses mainly then. The visibility is very poor for us as well, of course. Just going to make sure that on the back over there is, of course, the Mogami, and indeed it is. So we're going to tell them to just come out a tad like that, just to make sure they get a decent angle on over there. Haven't heard of any losses just yet, so we'll go and have a look in just a second. But I do want to make sure I don't forget about these Dauntlesses and tell them to attack in time. We're going to make sure these are formed up properly in a line ahead. Lovely stuff, and you know what, I think that is just fine. Going to tell them all to attack right now, so don't forget about that, and that would be brilliant stuff. How are these Catalinas doing? Very nice lead on that there, I think. What have we lost? We lost 1 Catalina. Okay, that's from the rear there. Come on, guys, you got this. You got this. Oh, oh, it's too much to try and pick up all at once. Oh, I really hope I'm able to catch all of that for you. That was brilliant. Let's double check exactly what everything was hit by. There was a loss of dud torpedoes on that food, so look at that. Dud, 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 dud. 5 duds. Another one there. So bad. So bad. So what did it actually get hit by? 1, 2, 3 torpedoes there. Out of so many possible hits. Why? Why? It is only a moderate damage because of that, and the Mogami in heavy. So I think really the best option is to try and finish off the Mogami there and hit the Fuso later on. Should not be a question about that. So let's get these Dauntlesses in, I think. Try and hit that once again. The Mogami is number 4, wasn't it? So let's go for that. You know, I'm very tempted to keep these other 2 in reserve here. Like that. Where are we? That's one that's already dropped. Where are we here? It is this one. And this one. Brilliant stuff. Let's bring them over here like that. Rather interesting. The fires, of course, while we get there, might get worse, but not too likely there. The Fuso looking very horrible there. We can only hope for a magazine detonation on the front there, because that's where the torpedoes hit. Was rather saturated there. Very well concentrated on the bows there. I really have managed to capture that for you. I really should have just kept over that. So do apologise if it doesn't come out too well there. But oh, so much going on. It's so good. I'll get back to you again once we're in range with these Dauntlesses. Okay, so it does look like be able to get on a decent line with these Dauntlesses here onto the Mogami. You can see it there, basically dead in the water, going a total of 9 knots with the stern of the ship completely covered in fires there. It's going to be a very nice strike. I am actually going to tell our Dauntlesses to turn just a little bit more over here. That'd be great if we could do that. So we can get straight onto the bow of the ship and drop a few bombs there, just to spread out the damage a tad. That'd be great if we can do that. Of course, the visibility, like I say, is very low, so they're not opening fire just yet, which is brilliant stuff. And I think we're going to tell them to attack just from here. That'd be brilliant. Going to get the other Dauntlesses in a position on the rear of the enemy over there. Where have they gone? There we go, like that. I'm going to watch this group. Come on, the fire's sort of being put out on the stern there. Perhaps we're a little too late for that. But we'll see how this drop goes. And come on, guys, you got this. All on the bow, please. Maybe in the midships. That'd be brilliant. Come on. Not what I was looking for there, really. We'd definitely have to use the other two for that then. Take a quick report. Yeah, still heavy rather than critical. So we are going to go straight in onto that. And we're going to come from two different directions, I think. Like that. This group, are they at full speed? No, they're not. That's not a problem there. This group can stay at the speed they're going. And we're going to tell them to line up. Like that. And come on then, let's compress some time, get straight in, don't need to dawdle anymore. And yeah, that's looking okay. Actually, just tell them to, there we go, just right. Brilliant stuff. Did lose another Dauntless on the retreat there, which is rather unfortunate. The other group coming in just a second. Should be alright with that. Come on, guys. Dive, dive, dive. We're going to sink this Mogami. We're going to sink it. Make that one each day now. A Mogami a day keeps the river away. How's that going to look? Oh my God, how many misses do we want? Finish this fucker off, please. Should certainly be becoming a better approach with this group. That's not a problem. I'm not going to bother looking at the reports here. If it says it's sunk before we hit with this group, I'll be very peed off. We could have hit a supply ship, perhaps. But you know what? I'm really pissed off about the torpedo duds. That was hit by so many torpedoes, about 11 or something, I think. But most of them being duds. Oh, I lost the Dauntless there just as it was about to drop as well. But we got some very nice hits on the midships there. That is brilliant stuff. You guys can guess out. You've earned your paycheck today. But have they earned it hard enough? We are in critical damage there, so I'm going to keep this group actually just circling round, and we can watch from the sidelines to see if that Mogami does go down. Fingers crossed. Pray silence, please. We'll see you in a second, and hold our breaths. And there we go. There you have it. Mogami is sunk after all the blood, sweat and tears there. I fucking tell you that. Unfortunately, we did lose a couple of Dauntlesses in that, and one of them from the Wasp group there, which is rather unfortunate. But I'm feeling much better about perhaps taking a surface engagement with that. We'll see what happens. We are coming into the nighttime hours now, so we are going to bring the Colorado all the way up here. And actually bring the Wasp just a tad further back. There's no reason for the enemy ships to come in this area, but you never know what the AI likes to do. Hopefully now that they've taken some damage, they might actually retreat into our Geisho here. We'll see what happens. Wait overnight, and I'll get back to you. Alrighty then, so it is now 5 AM, and it does appear that the carrier group is it's either the same one, or it could be a new one. We definitely have to scout that out. So I'm going to double check where this Kingfish is going. Actually change its path. That's got to be a new one. Surely the game will recognise after we've attacked it, after sinking the Nishin, that that is a different group. There's certainly no carrier in what we just saw. So that suggests, because we don't see the Fuso group, that it has buggered off. We'll see what happens with our scouts though. We are going to see what happens here. So let's ruddy bloody go. Have got the Colorado up now in a very nice, let's target it properly, in a very nice 10 ship group there. We are being scouted out here. May have to sort this out in a second. Lightning's come into contact over here. I may just skip over this. I'll see you in a second. Yeah, nothing too interesting there, just a couple Hyabusses. We'll see exactly what this group is, though. You know I am going to try and intercept those with some Air Cobras. There's really no need to let those spot us. If they do, they'll start sending planes. And that's not what we want at all. So lots of scouts, though, so it might just be a fleet escort carrier. Because that's what it suggests. If they were Jakes, of course, they would have a different symbol. We're coming right above them. Okay, so it's changed the icon there. Going to go into that very quickly and just ignore these ruddy bloody lightnings again. Okay, so yes, this is the same Fuso group as before. We can see the damaged Fuso here, and that is absolutely not a problem there. It's very nice to check that. It was rather a shame, well, would be rather surprising rather if that was another carrier. So I'm going to mark that very quickly, like that. And yeah, I think that is all we have time for, unfortunately, today, ladies and gentlemen. Try and chase it up in the next episode and see if we can sight that ruddy bloody Congo again. I think they're getting scared now. We did, of course, drop some more troops from the Santa Isabel and supplies onto Guadalcanal. Very well defended there. Would love some more supplies, of course, but that is what is coming with this group, which is getting ever closer. How long will that take exactly? That will take about 7.3 hours. Guessing just a tad difficult with the... okay, that's going to take 8 hours now because of the course we have just set. That's not a problem at all. That would be lovely stuff happening next episode. We can see what we can do after that. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Very much appreciate it. But I've been the Edified Gamer, and I hope your nights and days are auspicious. Goodbye.